Welcome back to another episode of the Domestic Boyfriends podcast. Always with me is my co-host Vincent, and I am Dean. I did that out of order.
I am Vincent, and that is Dean.
Yes, that is Vincent. I am Dean. Today's episode went through multiple things. Today was supposed to be the Kenobi episode, but life. So, today's episode is about Ben 10. Ben 10.
He thought he was an alien, and then he wasn't. That's not the lyrics at all. Oh, God.
Ben 10. We're going to be talking about, we're doing a 3x3. Our nine favorite aliens for Ben 10. Should be 10, but we're doing 9.
Yeah.
Niche topic, but this week also didn't have anything exciting happening. So we're going to talk about our childhood instead.
True. It was a more exciting time.
Yeah. So, I guess we don't have a lot of news either. So, if you just want to go through yours and I'll go through mine.
Oh, sure. All right. Recently, and I believe we covered it on the last episode of the podcast, Atlas has come out and announced that the Persona 5 Royal, as well as Persona 4 Gold Edition and Persona 3 Portable, are getting brought over to every single console outside of the Nintendo Switch. They have since remedied that at today's Nintendo Direct, where it is now being officially announced that it will be coming to the Nintendo Switch, as well as Nier Automata coming to it as well. They're apparently getting rebuilt from the ground up for engines, which is the only way that I see them being possibly playable on the Switch.
The Switch can... Well, I feel like the misconception about the Switch is that it can run 60 FPS games. It's just developers they cap the frame rate for the system.
Absolutely. It's not, for me, it's not a question of whether it can run at 60 FPS or not, because I'm okay with 30 FPS games. I've played on console most of my life, so I'm used to it, and I honestly don't need 60 FPS. My concern is the fact that I think the Switch might explode trying to run the game.
It might run at 10 frames. Yeah. Yeah. Why is my Switch taking off?
I mean, Persona 5 Royal, I can kind of see it happening. It can get a little intensive during some of the scenes and fights and stuff. But Nier Automata, the maps for that game are huge. I guess the Switch can run The Witcher, but The Witcher does not look good on the Switch.
Yeah, there's a lot of
The Switcher.
Yeah, it's a very questionable move, but I mean, I guess they're trying to get it for the Switch. The thing that I've always thought about, right? Or the thing that I've always, I guess, yeah, that's the right wording, is that, everybody, I feel like Nintendo consoles are something that, almost everybody has, right? It's the big rivalry isn't, the trio, Nintendo, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft. It's Sony... It's Xbox and PlayStation fighting for who has the home console, but whatever Nintendo releases, people will have. You know what I mean? Because Nintendo just has too many first party childhood reminiscing games that people love. Too many IPs that people know won't go to a different console. Whether it's Pokemon, Mario, Star Fox, whenever they release one of those, or Donkey Kong, their first party titles are enough for people to buy an entire console. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's kind of weird that Atlas would even take this turn, because it's not like people don't have the devices, and for the fact that PC is becoming such a PC gaming is literally people are more likely to have a PC than a system nowadays, just because the amount of games you can just have. So, yeah.
And the last bit of news that I have is that we have an official release date for Chainsaw Man Part 2. The sequel to the manga is going to be coming out in Shonen Jump starting July 17th.
My sleepy voice does not. You won't hear it from me, but I am so excited. I read Chainsaw Man on a whim because I heard one of my favorite like YouTube reviewers talk about it, and then I dove into it and finished it in one night, like at 2 a.m, and I was not disappointed. Chainsaw Man's a hell of a ride. Once you guys see the anime, if you haven't read the manga, it's definitely something that's not like crazy, like in depth, like Death Note level tiers of like story and philosophy, but like it's really cool. Um, is that all you got?
That's all I got.
Yeah, news this week is not very good. I'm gonna leave. I have this on the first on my list. This is gonna be last because like I might scream. So during the Nintendo Direct, along with Atlas announcing those releases, we also got some gameplay of Sonic Frontier, a much later build than what we've seen from the last gameplay footage that we got, and it seems to be pretty polished. We get a look at some characters and how some level design is. It seems to be the open world. You go into these virtual levels, and the virtual levels seem to like just be similar to previous maps from Sonic games. Like there's a Green Hill inspired one, and then there's like one that's like a techno city, and the other one that's like a sky city. If you understand what I'm saying, definitely promising looking. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think this might be like the first Sonic game that I pick up in a while, just because I'm curious about it, and I've actually been getting into Sonic lore a lot ever since the first movie.
It seems pretty cool. I hope it's good.
Sonic comics are also something that I want to get into. There's someone I watch on TikTok that does lore videos about Sonic, and it's pretty interesting. That time I got reincarnated as the Slimes getting their movie Scarlet Bond. It's releasing outside of Japan in 2023. I think it's getting released this year. In Japan, exciting. Slime's cool. You think Slime's cool, Vincent? Yeah,
I
Slime's
think
cool.
slime is very cool.
Very marketable. Very cool. Next. Okay, this is random. But you like witches?
Yeah.
You like old witches? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Hocus Pocus is getting a sequel. Hocus Pocus 2. It's the only like Disney relevant news that I have, so I decided to put it on there.
I saw that we have some new set photos for it.
Yeah, it looks cool. There's a trailer. Looks cool. It's just so odd. Like, why now?
Yeah. Seems
But-
like everyone's just working their way through their like reboot or hey, remember this thing
That's true.
right now.
Nostalgia trips.
Yeah.
The last thing I have before I wake up and start screaming, all 14 of the One Piece movies are coming to Amazon Prime July 22nd. I think that's that's actually like pretty exciting, just because a lot of them are either on like just getting to be on Blu-ray, and like the last 4, I think, or the last 3 One Piece movies have come to the US with like, I think like pretty close airing dates from Japan, like months after, or I think Stampede was actually like a couple weeks after, and Film Red, the current one might be coming like the same time internationally. I'm not sure. I don't remember if they said anything about that. But guys, it finally happened. In this direct, we got announced a partner game that I've been waiting for this. I haven't been like at the edge of my seat waiting for it all the time, but today on my lunch break, I saw that this game got announced. I audibly yelped and was so excited the rest of the day. Mega Man Battle Network is getting a Legacy Collection. So if you didn't know, most of the Mega Man games have gotten, like all the older Mega Man games have gotten the Legacy Collection, where it's usually whatever games are in that series get released as a collection, usually like not redesigned, but they get like HD remake, like revamps. And man, if you didn't know, I'm like a really big Mega Man fan, but I only like really specific parts of Mega Man. And I was brought into Mega Man by Mega Man Battle Network, and I played Mega Man Battle Network and Mega Man Star Force, and they're my favorite Mega Man games and Mega Man series. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection is it's going to be my favorite game of 2023. Have I played most of them and completed them 100%? Yes. Will I buy this and do it again? Of course. I'm so excited about this. I love Mega Man. I specifically love Mega Man Battle Network so much. I watched the anime as a kid. I watched it again as an adult in the Japanese. I've played most of the GBA games. I have most of them physically. I have the Nintendo DS game, and I will be owning this Legacy Collection as well. I've played the ROM hacks and played them like some versions have like Japanese only features, so people have made English patches. I've played all those. I'm really hyped for this. This is the most exciting thing that's happened, and it happened today. So that's all I have for news. Yeah, do you have anything else before we move on to Big Ben?
Got nothing.
All
Let's
right.
get discussing.
Okay. So today we're going to be talking about our 9 favorite aliens from Ben 10, the entire series. So if you didn't know, Ben 10 is a series started on Cartoon Network about a kid who found a device in a crashed site in camp one summer. And that device allowed him to transform into 10 different aliens. And I think like 12 plus seasons. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 iterations of the show. Yeah, it's a long legacy. Yeah. Do you just want to do like every other alien, like both of our firsts and the second? This isn't in any order. I don't have mine in any order. Do you have one? Do you have them in any order?
I have them in order.
Oh, I don't. I don't really have them in order.
Well, then we can just forget about me saying mine's in order. Then
No. Do yours. Do yours in order. We can talk about them because if like we'll go in your order. If I have one that's on mine, we could talk about it some more.
Okay. Well,
Number one. Number one.
Are you wanting to go first?
No, you go.
I go. Okay.
Yeah, you go.
Number one for me. Well, I guess this is technically number 9 for me. For moving up. Number 9 is Heat Blast.
You know, I was gonna put Heat Blast because he is the original one, but I don't know. I feel like there was a missed opportunity of having not instead of Ultimate Swampfire being Ultimate Heat Blast. Just saying.
Yeah, I always got sad whenever Swampfire, like I like Swampfire. He's a cool alien. The fact that it's Wildvine and it's kind of like Wildvine and Heat Blast together.
Combined, yeah. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
A lot of all of the Alien Force aliens kind of feel like just combinations of two aliens.
Yeah,
from the OG.
no. But like, you know, I really like Heat Blast, and I'm fond of Wildvine. So like, I wasn't the biggest fan of Swampfire, even though he is just a better Heat Blast. Kind of.
I mean, a baby Pyronite can go supernova.
It's true. Heat Blast is just cooler though.
No,
he's like the male version of Lava Girl, you know?
Yeah, I don't want to think about that, but yeah.
Lava Man.
Have you ever seen the design? I know you didn't watch Omniverse. Have you look up the design of Heat Blast in Omniverse? They give him toes, but like they're like claws. I also kind of like the way that they slimmed down his design in Omniverse. He also has a really cool transformation. But no, yeah, I think a swamp, not swamp fire.
Heat Blast has always had the toes. What?
Oh, I don't remember it from the original series.
Or are you telling me you didn't look at their feet?
No,
I looked at
did
their feet.
not. Oh, okay. Of course you did.
Well, what's that supposed to mean?
I really do like Heat Blast. I just think like, I don't know. I didn't. He's not on my list, but I definitely think he is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah, solid pick. Solid pick. I like it. I like it.
Are we just gonna go through my list and then go on to yours, or?
No, I'll grab one from mine.
Great.
Okay, on the top of mine is Swamp Fire.
Oh,
I
then.
I really like Swamp Fire. Something about like, okay, so like his fluorokinesis I think is really cool. The fact that like besides him like throwing fireballs, which is like his only pyrokinetic ability, he's like super strong and like kind of can manipulate his size and he can regrow. Like he's like despite there being another plant species on like in the series, he's the only one that we've really seen that can like literally come back from nothing slash regenerate almost anything.
Yeah. That's true.
He's really, I mean, he's kind of an integral character to like ending the hybrid invasion in Alien Force because he saved the one hybrid and like he gave him like the arm, the swamp fire like arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He is like the swamp fire of the reboot or of the sequel series. Or not the Heat Blast of the sequel series.
Yeah.
And he gets an ultimate form, and I have like a bittersweet relationship with Ultimate Swamp Fire because on one hand, Blue Fire cool, right? On the other hand, he kind of just looks like a giant blueberry.
Yeah.
But that fight with Vilgax was really cool, and the fact that he did like a fire blast underwater, and it did damage was really cool. But yeah, and if you look up the Omniverse design of him too, so in Omniverse, Heat Blast like goes through, or not Heat Blast, Swamp Fire goes through like a maturity thing because he's a plant, right?
Yeah.
So like the original design happens in like the first like part of the episode, but then you see him like change and like wilt, and then like I think you see like Swamp Fire die, and then like he comes back as like a new blooming like version of himself, which was just an excuse to redesign him, which I like a lot less than the original design. But there's parts of him that I like.
Does he have gills?
In the redesign?
Yeah.
I don't think they're supposed to be gills, but
They look kind of like gills.
yeah. And like the other parts of his chlorokinesis where he can like create like toxins or something like that and gases. I just think that's really cool. They're also flammable, so you can set stuff on fire. Yeah, super cool.
All right.
Yeah, what's your number 8?
Number 8, Spider Monkey.
Spider Monkey is another solid pick.
Love Spider Monkey. He's I hate this. I hate spiders.
But I like monkeys.
But I like monkeys. I really like monkeys, and the fact that, much like Spider-Man, this is a spider adjacent, spider character. I am a big fan.
Do you not like spiders, man?
No, I really don't. I really don't like it when Peter turns into the spider. That episode of the animated series where they like reference that comic made me really uncomfortable.
Are you not happy for the Sunbreak monster? That's just a giant spider.
No, I'm not. You know, side tangent. When I was a kid, my mother took me to the Harry Potter movies when they came out in theaters.
Oh no!
Really awesome thing.
Oh,
really awesome. I had arachnophobia. at this point in my life
Mm-hmm.
when the second movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
And we go in. And she read the book to me before we went in.
Uh-huh.
But I was a little kid with ADHD.
Uh-huh.
I didn't think about the fact that there was a giant spider
Yeah.
that had a nest of giant spiders. That was a very important part of the story and was
Completely ignored by you.
completely ignored by me. I had a horrible time. That being said, Spider Monkey, really cool.
Do you
The fact
like
that his
Ultimate
webbing-
Spider? Do you like Ultimate Spider Monkey since he's
do.
more since he has more spider features?
See, I've realized that if the legs were the main transportation method and there weren't like regular arms and legs there, I would have been more upset. If the face was more spider-like, I would have been extremely upset.
We need to read Spider Island and talk about it on the podcast.
That just sounds like a bad time. Why would anyone go there?
Oh, it's an event in Marvel where everybody gets spider powers, but they also turn into spiders.
No, why? That sounded so cool until you said the last bit. Oh,
There's a tie-in comic from the Secret Wars from 2018 that like takes place in like a world where like Spider Island never ended, and there's so many spider people, like Shang-Chi with 8 arms.
What?
Or so I think it's like Iron Fist, but you know.
Sounds ridiculous. That sounds like a lot of fun, though. Do they actually look like spiders?
Yes, they are hairy. They have the eyes. They have multiple appendages.
Do they have the mandibles?
Yes.
Oh.
The mandibles get me. Oh, what about the
No,
episode?
they do.
What about the
They
episode
do.
of Billy and Mandy? Do you not like Billy's son?
Oh, die spider die, dude. Billy was like one of the most relatable
Billy
characters
is
for me
you.
when I was a kid. Because honestly, like I was absolutely horrified of clowns growing up. I've since like come to love them. And mostly because like my family would go camping every single year, and there's a parade in the town that we camp at, and they have a local clown that goes.
Oh, that
and
sounds so fucking
walks in the
scary.
parade.
That sounds so scary.
Well, I don't know. He was a very cool guy. I met him a couple of times, heard his jokes. Since he was old, he would forget things, as old people do.
Did he inspire Shello?
No.
Okay.
No, he was really funny and very PG.
For those
But,
who
like,
don't
he
know,
would, like, go-
Shello is Vincent's character in D&D.
he's a turtle.
He's a turtle bard.
He's a turtle bard, and an asshole. But like, there's this. He would do this routine every single time in the parade where he would like have these toy milkshakes on a tray and a big sign that said "free shake." He would like walk up and be like, "Oh, you want a free shake?" And all the kids like me would be like, "Oh, a milkshake sounds great. This is a very hot place for a parade, and my parents did not bring any water." Yes, please. Of course, that's what the child would think, but in reality, they were like, yeah. And so he'd just be like, "Whoa," and just start shaking his hips aggressively. And there was this one time where he did this to me, and I was very upset afterwards. And there was, I had just like talked my mother into at the like arts and crafts show nearby. I talked her into buying me a toy bow and arrow set, and so I looked at my grandfather. I looked at my grandfather and said, "Papa, get me my bow. I need to shoot the clown."
Get this man his bow. That's great.
But yeah, Spider Monkey's really cool.
Yeah, but Spider Monkey. No, I think he looks I really like him. There's that one character in Alien Force. I've been watching Carl the artist like recap the episodes.
Yeah.
And there's the one episode where like they go to the what do they call it? Arachnochimps? The Arachnochimp home
Arachnochimps.
planet. But then there's also the arachnid chimp that like is like working with the hybrid and like is pretending to be like the prince of like a world and something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know what you're talking about.
They're pretty prominent characters. It's definitely one of Ben's best hand-to-hand combat characters. Really cool, really agile.
Very funny.
Yeah,
I really
funny.
like it when Ben takes like a Spider-Man. It's like it's kind of like a Spider-Man reference, honestly. The fact that it zips around with webs and then like cracks jokes at people while doing it. I love it whenever Ben's alien personality. Well, whenever Ben's personality actually like just comes through, because he's such a little shit most of
Yeah.
the time.
It's it was said, I think it was said by like Derek J. Wyatt or someone on the crew that like the aliens aren't like 100% the alien. Like there's some morsel of Ben's DNA within it, or else like he wouldn't have a sense of self or something like that.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that's like through a lot of them. Um, yeah, I really like Spider Monkey too. My next one is Cannonbolt.
Cannonball.
Cannonball.
Ooh.
Me as a kid, can I like if I had to say my original like the OG series, my favorite alien, it would be Cannonbolt. The debut episode of Cannonbolt was fucking sick. The fact that Ben technically, Cannonbolt's race don't actually do what Cannonbolt does. I'm pulling it up right now. I know the name. Albur Arburian
Iberian Pelarota.
Alburian Pelarona. They use their shells as like a defense mechanism, but Ben uses it as an offensive mechanism. If that's not the creativity of a 10-year-old, I would never. I don't know what is, because he turned this fucking weighted ball into a literal fucking cannonball, and I love it. Like Ultimate Cannon Bolt is not cool at all. It's just a plated cannon bolt that's gray. But OG Cannon Bolt is awesome. When he transformed into an alien force, I thought it was a great throwback because I think a lot of people loved it. He replaced Ghost Freak as the 10th transformation for Ben after Ghost Freak left. So he was actually in the opening, unlike other ones like Ditto, Wildvine, and like the Inner transformations that he got. If you didn't know, the Inner system is where Frankenstrike, the Wolf, and the Mummy are from.
Yeah.
I didn't pay that much attention to Ben 10 lore until I started rewatching it because like remembering stuff as a kid. But no, Cannonbolt's awesome. He might have killed like the last of a species, and he is the last of a species, but pretty awesome. He killed the giant tick thing. Yeah, no, Cannonbolt's awesome.
Cannonbolt's very cool. He's also one of the aliens where Gwen, when she was Gwen 10, got to be, which was very disconcerting to see Cannonbolt with a slim figure and you know some special kind of lips. You know, he's like a panda. Like one thing that I never got when
In
I was
many
a kid,
ways, yes.
and I know, but like one thing that I never got when I was a kid, just because like I don't think they ever really covered it. Outside of the armored parts of his body, he's covered in fur.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Yeah,
I
he's
never
gotta
thought.
be like super soft, you know.
I never
like,
thought of him
nice.
being like a mammal-like creature. I always thought that the hard shell was just like. I never thought of it as an armadillo. I always just thought of him as a bug.
Yeah, because he's more like a roly-poly.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's interesting. That's something I
But he's
didn't
covered
know
in
about.
fur.
I know so much unnecessary information about Ben 10, and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh. Anyway,
Right.
number 7.
Number 7 for me is Goop.
I was gonna put
love
Goop was so
Goop is
close
so
to be on my
cool.
list.
Goop is such an awesome alien, and oh my god, I can't tell you how upset I was that Goop didn't get an ultimate transformation.
What would Ultimate Goop be?
Okay, he wouldn't need the fucking UFO.
Well, the whole point of it is the fact that Goop's planet didn't have a lot of gravity, so they were able to move that way. So he has an artificial gravity manipulator. Or an
Exactly.
artificial gravity
But he'd
generator.
be with Ultimate Goop should be able to do that on any planet and just have his own gravity system to himself that he wouldn't need like to worry that an outside source would be able to like take it away. I don't know what else it could be. But
A bunch of
I
goo.
don't I'm
More
not
goo.
I'm not an alien force maker.
More Goop.
But like Goop, first off, the voice. Oh my god. It was the funniest thing to me when I was a kid. I died. I was laughing so hard whenever Goop was on screen because it just sounds like you do that thing where you put your like finger between your lips and you're like it's just so funny.
I was gonna say it's like you're speaking into a fan, like a moving fan blade, but yeah, that works.
And then also like so I haven't really watched Omniverse. I've watched lots of clips of it.
Yeah.
So I have like a kind of basic understanding of the show. But the fact that they brought Albedo back and Albedo used Goop, I mean, for people that don't know, Albedo is like an evil version of Ben.
If you're watching, by the way,
kind of.
if you're watching this episode and you don't know anything about Ben 10, good on you for being a loyal listener. But why are you listening to us talk about the show you don't know about?
Because Ben 10's cool, dude. But like Albedo is just another person with the Omnitrix who's most of the time stuck on their transformation of a human whose DNA is just Ben. So it just looks like a like red colored version of Ben.
That is the simplest way to explain Albedo's episode. Yes,
absolutely. But Albedo, when Albedo was Goop, you know how they made Goop seem evil? They just made him red.
yeah.
Red mean bad. That man bad.
So Albedo, I want to do like a quick thing, explaining Albedo. But if you don't watch Ben 10, why are you watching this episode? But if you do, you don't need me to explain it.
Well, we can't explain it without talking about gray matter, which might be on the list.
The fact that Goop isn't green, I feel like, is an error because everybody else is like the correct color species. There's no, because like none of it's just their costumes. Like in Omniverse, they gave a lot of them clothes, and
then their eyes are red.
Yeah, I mean, like the red Omnitrix is very like Albedo like themed because of like what happened after like the sync happened and like his dysfunctional Omnitrix like kind of lost the war against Azimuth's. Like,
yeah,
it makes sense that like their their eyes, that makes sense because it kind of makes sense because his copy of Ben's DNA got corrupted. So like I guess like it could have been like blue, but it just turned red and Ben has green eyes, so it might have just it did like a control F and found all of the colors and was just like red. All green turned red, including your eye color. Because if you didn't know, all of them have green eyes because Ben has green eyes, thus proving the fact that a portion of Ben's DNA is still in the alien.
Yeah.
Except if you don't have eyes, like Wild Mutt.
Oh, yeah. The last thing about Goop that I really like, and last thing I'll say about him, is the fact that he is he is one of two things. He is either glue,
or acid.
Great, wonderful, or acid. Why are these the only two options that he was given? Why couldn't he be like Jello?
I think
that would be a much more delicious hero.
I think Goop is like for the fact that like we don't know, like we're never given, we just see him fight stuff occasionally, but like we don't know like the upper limits of like how far like the gravity manipulator can like take him, because technically he could fly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If the gravity manipulator just like put him into a ball and just flew him over somewhere, who knows how long the gravity manipulator could go? Because I don't think it's ever explained. But Ben is just the pile of goo, and is the gravity manipulator Ben, or because
it's the Omnitrix, I think.
But it's not, because when Vilgax turned into Goop, they just grabbed the Omnitrix from Goop, like the gooey part, and then just took it off of
Oh,
him. Remember?
right.
So
Um,
I don't know if it's like the Omnitrix's AI that takes over, because this is only one of two examples of the Omnitrix. Well, it's one of two examples that I can think of right now. There's a couple more where the Omnitrix creates a handicap, I guess you could say, or a device to assist the alien to work for Ben, the
yeah.
gravity manipulator, and then within the same series, within the same set of 10
They did
aliens.
that with like Brainstorm too,
Yeah,
with
it's a
the
breathing
belt.
app. It's a breathing apparatus. Yeah, because he's an
Yeah, because he
aquatic
has to breathe
creature.
underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, technically, Goop could like fight anything. I mean, he's acid. He can just turn into goo. He can go through almost
He's one of the
solid
stronger
matter.
aliens that just sort of goes unutilized.
He also has like strength feats where he fights things. Like, if he condenses, like he can just become solid, like more solid matter. And like, I'm pretty sure he's moved like bars of steel before. So like,
Yeah.
he's definitely killing humans, but like definitely because of the acid too. But
He's
yeah.
he's super resilient. He's able to regenerate himself. He's able to breathe underwater and deal with intense heat. Like he's just a really like good alien that they
Oh my
use
gosh.
in like 6 episodes.
I need to look it up right now.
I missed it.
I thought Goop was part of the same race as the thing from Secret of the Omnitrix. What the fuck is it called? You know the
See,
gooey thing?
I'm-
The orange gooey thing. From the movie Secret of the Omnitrix?
uh the orange gooey thing from Secret of the Omnitrix. I don't know what you're talking about.
Orange thing. What's it called? It was with Tetrax on the ship. It was the pilot of Tetrax's ship. You don't remember it?
Tetrax.
The diamond head?
Or yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna send an image to you. Give me a second.
Oh, Bluto?
Yeah, I thought Bluto was like the same thing because like he also has like some type of apparatus around him. You know what I mean? And if it's similar, then I would assume that everything that Bluto's does, Ben's just does, but better since it's the Omnitrix, you know?
Uh,
I don't think they're related.
yeah. They're different species.
Yeah. But yeah. No, Goop's awesome. Goop is awesome. For my third one, I chose the other plant boy, Wildvine. Because I have a thing, like I really like in anime and like power systems, I like fire and I also like chloro like flower like plant manipulation a lot. Just because I think it's cool because a lot of the times like it can be brought back to like nature and like becoming one with nature and different things like that. I really like Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing in DC Comics and like I think their abilities are cool and being one with nature and like in Marvel like Krakoa and everything like that. I think that's all cool. Wildfire also had like crazy feats in its debut episode and like it could use its tendrils to like do crazy things and it had like the seed bombs and shit. Yeah, I thought
Yep.
Wildfire was really cool.
Wildfine's sick.
Yeah.
What the first episode that he was in was when they were in like a carnival, right?
I don't think so. The first episode was when
That's some kind of like park or something. I
they
thought.
met their aunt. They went to meet their aunt Agnes, I think. Oh no, that was a different episode. What was the Wild Divine debut episode? I can look it up real quick. It was in.
Who cares? He's cool. I like him.
Neat fact about Wildvine.
Mhm.
When Azimuth got the DNA sample from Wildvine, it was that Florian or whatever the species is called, was actually being possessed by an ectoneurite, specifically Ghost Freak sample, who is called frickin' what's it called? Zscare. So the original sample of Ghost Freak, who is Zscare, was actually possessing the Wildvine DNA sample. So that's how,
Oh,
because ectoneurites technically don't have DNA, or they're not living creatures. So the only way that an ectoneurite could be technically scanned for their DNA is if they're possessing another creature with DNA. So, fun fact about that.
okay.
Fun fact about Wildvine. Also, that the reason, if you didn't know, Zscare, all ectoneurites live in the consciousness of their DNA. I think they do have DNA, or the only reason that Azimuth found him was because he was in the Wildvine sample. But no matter where their consciousness, or no matter what piece of DNA it is, or where it's stored, or what it's in, their consciousness always lives on. So that's why Ghost Freak is like the most dangerous sample.
Interesting.
So yeah, no. Anyway, number 6.
Number 6 is our boy Cannonbolt.
Back to
We've already
Cannonball.
talked about him. God, I love Cannonbolt. He's
Back to
so
Cannonball.
cool. His ultimate form, he's a silver marble. I
No,
love
I hate
silver
hate
marbles.
Ultimate Cannonball.
I but the biggest and best part for me was he was a big part of one of my favorite episodes when I was a kid, which was when Ben got sucked inside of Sumo Slammers.
Oh my gosh, there was that.
Sumo
Do you,
Slammers was the best episode of classic Ben
do you
10.
remember? Do you remember the online game on the CartoonNetwork.com?
Yes, when you would go around the factory floors and you would pick up the Sumo Slammer cards.
Yes. No, there was a Sumo Slammer game.
Oh, that one too. Yeah. It was like a side scroller, right?
No, it was like a semi-platformer. Semi-platformer.
Semi-platform. Okay.
Yeah. It was. I thought that was so cool. I thought there should have been an entire season about Sumo Slammer versions of aliens.
Right? Dude, the Sumo Slammers SmackDown
I wish that was real.
episode was so good.
I wish Sumo Slammers would be a real TCG.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. I totally forgot about that episode. So cool. He gets a little top knot. No,
He gets his tiny little top knot.
no, that's awesome. Good segue into that, because the reason that they were even in the Sumo Slammers game was because of Upgrade. Upgrade. I love Upgrade. Yeah. Upgrade's awesome. Do you like Upgrade?
I like Upgrade. I enjoy his species. I like Ship more.
It's because we see shit more.
That's true.
In Omniverse, they introduced this guy called Malware, who is like, so you know, so they're technically not like a natural species. Like Upgrade species is the galvanic mechamorph, and they were created by Azimuth, right?
Yeah.
On Galvan Prime or Galvan 2.
Yeah.
And there was an Omniverse, there was an evil one he like got corrupted or something during his creation, so he turned red, because in Ben 10 all evil things are red.
That's true. Red equal bad guy.
Green equal good guy. And Malware, like he absorbed other upgrades or other galvanic mechamorphs, and like he would absorb technology. So his thing was that instead of him upgrading technology, he would just assimilate it. So
Oh.
kind of like Ship, but without the upgrading. So he would just assimilate technology, and that's how he got stronger.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really like Upgrade. I thought the idea of Upgrade is so cool. Whenever he uses it in the show, I think it's awesome. There's an episode on Omniverse where Ben turns into Upgrade and upgrades Kevin's car, and he's just like he's just like, have you been able to do this the entire time I've known you? And he was just like, you told me never to touch your car. And then he turns Kevin's car into a giant Megazord to fight another Megazord made of other cars.
I forgot about that episode.
It is a great episode.
That's fantastic. That is a wonderful episode.
Yeah, I just think Upgrade's a really cool thing. I think Upgrade is like the alien I would want to have a transformation of in the modern age.
Yeah, dude, I could be Upgrade, and like hit my PC, and then I would be the 3080 Ti.
It wouldn't be a 3080 Ti, it'd be like the 6980 Ti because you'd upgrade it.
Dude, the games would have to load to catch up to me.
Oh yeah, you could be in the games.
I could be in.
You could be in Sumo Slammers. No, that'd be awesome. Except like you'd be playing Sekiro and just die.
I mean, dude, there's a chance that Ben 10's gonna get a multiverses. You know,
just cheat. That was leaked. I guarantee you he's gonna be in multiverses.
I'm so excited for him to be in, dude. It's gonna be like Pokemon Trainer. I don't know how they're gonna be able to select the aliens though.
I don't know.
No matter what they do, someone will be upset.
Yeah,
and it might be me.
Why can't I play Cannonball?
Why can't I play as my number 5? Ditto.
I think Ditto. Okay, so in the
Ditto
reboot
is the funniest
in
character.
in the reboot. So there's so many different There's so many different aliens after Ditto that just have Ditto's ability, but are usually
I was so
better.
mad when Echo came out, dude. I saw him. He said Echo. And I heard his voice. I was like, oh, cool, a sound-based character. And then he split apart. And I was like, what the fuck? Where's Ditto? He's not funny in this character. He's funny when he's Ditto, though. Dude, when he transforms into Ditto for the first time, and like he gets pulled apart into 2 different versions of himself. Dude, it's so funny because like the first Ben just looks back at the other one. He's like, "Oh, sick!"
He's like, more of me.
As the other one is like screaming because he's about to die.
He's like, "This is amazing." So Echo, and in the reboot, there's another one called Slapback. And anytime, so how he multiplies is anytime one takes damage, right? The other one, they multiply. So like he fissions off, and then a copy is created that is stronger and more durable than the previous one, right? Mm-hmm. And then it just keeps stacking like exponentially. So eventually, Slapback, like he creates a Slapback that's like bigger than a car that's super strong. So it's like reverse Russian nesting dolls.
That's so weird. That's cool though.
Yeah.
But Ditto's funny.
No, I think Ditto's cool. He's voiced by whatchamacallit? The Animaniacs.
The Animaniacs? Yeah. No,
that's
dude,
awesome. And it kind of looks like him too.
They act like the Animaniacs.
No, they're awesome. There's also some cool fights with Ditto because like there's just more of him, so like numbers. The biggest drawback is the pain thing, though.
That's true.
But
you know what? I think Ben's kind of a masochist, so he's probably into it.
I think all of the Tennysons just have really high durability and strength stats. They dump all of their stats into strength, dex, or constitution. I wanna fact check the one time Grandpa Max. I think he like punched one of Vilgax's things. He like punched one of Vilgax's robots and it broke. Or the one time he got hit by a laser point blank and survived.
Well, Grandpa Max is the real G.
And the real G, Articuana is, because he's my number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's my number 5. I love Articuana. Arctic was introduced during the Future Ben episode, and
Yeah.
we didn't see him for so long in the show, but his name stuck with me, and so did
Well, we
his
didn't see him
design.
until Ultimate Alien, right?
Yeah, Arctic One is awesome. He has another one
He
of those
didn't get a
elemental
name till the end of the
powers.
episode.
Yeah. What do you name him? Sub-Zero? That's boring. Arctic. I love Arctic. He's such a he's the nichest character of this niche show, but I love him. Yeah, he's just super cool. I like his abilities. He seems to have like the ability to like turn things freezing or beyond that. So he's super
man.
cool. Ben 23 calls him Mr. He calls him Freeze Lizard.
Oh,
Yeah. It's pretty
I
great.
don't think I'd be friends with. It sounds like I'd bully Ben 23.
Ben
I don't
23
think I'd be
comes
friends
from
with
a
him.
universe that Uncle Ben, Grandpa Max died.
Oh,
So instead of him, I don't know, the origins never said how he gets the Omnitrix, but you know, the Omnitrix didn't seek out Ben. It seeked out, or it sought out Uncle. He's not his fucking uncle, Grandpa Max. And since Ben is his grandson, it found the closest matching DNA, right? That's like the canon reason why Ben has the Omnitrix is because instead of going farther to get Max, it just got closer to Ben because of the matching DNA.
yeah.
So I only imagine that when Azimuth sent out the Omnitrix, that since Max was dead and he didn't know about it, it just went to Ben. So he's like raised in like since he doesn't have like the morals and like the teachings of Max, he just becomes like a wannabe superstar and like publicizes his aliens and like does like TV shows and sponsorships. He becomes like a YouTuber and social media influencer. Instead of what is it called? What's the shake place supposed to be called?
Steak and Shake?
No, in Ben
No,
10.
that's a real one.
What's it called?
It is Burger Shack.
Burger Shack.
Or are you talking about Mr. Smoothie?
Mr. Smoothie. So instead of a Mr. Smoothie, he has a Mr. Heroes, and it's a Euro place.
It's Euro. Of course.
And he
eats
doesn't
Euro.
actually, and of course, he doesn't like Euros. He also calls smoothies yokel food.
Yeah, I'd bully him.
Yeah. He's not the best character. So yeah, who's your number 4? I'm curious on your top 3.
Well, my number 4 is a rock solid man by the name of Diamond Head. Another classic alien. I love classic Ben 10. But I will say, when they brought him back in Ultimate Alien and he had like the purple rocks that covered chromostone
in Alien
like,
Force,
he looks so cool. And then he was one of the aliens that they brought out for the Generator Rex crossover. And he got drawn in the Generator Rex art style.
we need
so he
to
looks
do
super edgy.
We
It's
need to
so
do an episode
cool.
about that because Heroes United is probably like the best of both of those series.
Dude, I was frothing at the mouth at the idea of Ben just taking out Upgrade to use on Rex.
Yeah.
That just sounded insane.
Yeah,
Generator Rex is a series that I wish would come back.
yeah, I like Generator X. Diamond Head, his fight against Vilgax, like after Chromostone just gets like destroyed, and then
Yeah.
Diamond Head comes back. Like I watched like I said before, like I watched like the recaps of these episodes. Him coming back, and being like Ben's most probably because like we find out in the classic series that in between episodes like Ben trains with his aliens, so like him pulling out all of these moves isn't like out of his ass. He's like actually trained in between. With Max, who at the time he didn't know was a trained plumber, but probably gave him tips.
Yeah.
Because because he probably had worked with or had been with like some of those species in some shape or form.
At the very least, the Petrosapiens, of course, because
Yeah.
of how like prevalent they are in the plumbers.
Yeah. So him him being like him getting that alien is like him literally pulling out like it's literally like freaking like Yugi playing Dark Magician. Like it's literally a card. It's something that he's comfortable with. It's something that he knows very well. You know what I mean? There's a better comparison out there, but like he literally got an alien that was literally like an OG, something he's trained with for a long time, and something he probably knows like the back of his hand, and just demolishes Vilgax with it. He's probably one of Ben's most versatile aliens if it wasn't for the fact that he can't fly, and I'm guessing he might be really heavy for swimming.
Yeah.
But like the offense and defensive capabilities of him is crazy.
Man.
I really love
And
that.
also, like, it's the same species that Tetrax is a part of, and Tetrax is such a cool character.
Yeah. And like he killed his whole species, but you know
Yeah.
that's why Chromostone exists. But
That's true.
I definitely think it's really cool. I think the Petrosapiens in general are really cool. Just like the versatility, like they can make stuff, they can generate things, they shoot stuff. It's just really cool. My favorite version of Diamond Head is actually Ben 10,000 from the OG series.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way that he takes the black and white. So one of my least favorite things about like as Ben 10 moves away from the classic series is the modernization of some of the looks. Like I really like the black and white instead of green for the Omnitrix. Like I think green as Ben's color is cool
Yeah.
and somewhat being an accent color. But I feel like the white and black is more synonymous with Ben 10 if people have watched the OG series. You know what I mean?
I completely agree.
Green becomes his color like later on, and I honestly think it's just because like during the transformation and everything like that, they made some of Ben's colors green.
Yeah.
And the fact that like the recharge thing was like a green ring, like some of the color green didn't become something prevalent until the second season.
Yeah.
But I
until he
definitely
got the
like
jacket.
yeah. So I think like the suits like with OG forearms, I think it looks really cool, but Ben 10,000 forearms, like the way that they just use the suit color, like black and white, super simple, but like the way that they do the designs and everything like that, I think those look way better than any of the green. Fuck, in Omniverse, fucking forearms just becomes like an Italian with overalls. He gets a mustache.
No.
He just looks like a plumber. But like some of the designs, like I feel like just look better in white and black. And I definitely think that Diamond Head later on it doesn't get as bad for him in Omniverse. Like they just changed the white out for green. But I feel like there's some color clashing just because like it's good to have white and black. I'm going on a color theory tangent right now, but like green doesn't go with everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when a color palette is just when a color from a color palette is just changed out with a color that it doesn't really complement it that well, it doesn't look good. Like a lot of the aliens don't look good with green on them. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. My number 4 is Wrath.
Wrath.
I really like Wrath. Wrath is who Wrath is, right?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
tiger.
Yeah,
Tony
he's
the
Tony the Tiger. He kind of speaks like Lobo from DC Comics. He speaks in third person. Besides that, he's definitely like one of Ben's strongest slash toughest brawlers. And he's just cool. He has the claw. His debut episode was interesting, and like we see Ben trapped in another alien form, which isn't a trope yet, but it's something that happens occasionally to him. I like to think that Wrath is just everything that Ben doesn't say, and it just comes out when he's this transformation. In Omniverse. Speaking of clothes, in Omniverse, they make him a luchador.
What?
They give him a luchador costume.
Oh.
And later on, later on in the series, he gets long story short, he gets this alien which is like the precursor to all alien life in the galaxy, and he's able to sample different pieces within the Omnitrix, and he can turn his body into that DNA because he's slime, right?
Mhm.
So he can like shapeshift. Like something that he does like pretty often is like he'll change some of his body into like he'll he'll change some of his body into like Diamond Head, like, right? So something that he does like early on in his debut is he turns his parts of his body into a sword and a shield for, I forget for who, but they use that as like a sword and shield, but it's made of Diamond Head's DNA, right? Or he creates what does he do? Okay, so for Accelerate, like he was playing around with Ben, and Ben was moving around as Accelerate, and off of Accelerate's tail, he creates this anchor that's made of Diamond Head. So like it's like a diamond anchor that weighs him down. But anyway, in this episode, Ben also turns on the multi-language feature of the Omnitrix, and he only speaks in Spanish.
Oh, God.
And he Skurd is the name of the alien like goo thingy. So Skurd transforms Wrath's arm into a giant flaming mace from Heat Blast DNA. And Wrath like goes on a Spanish monologue, and it's amazing. And he's wearing a luchador outfit. Wrath and Fuego. It's an episode. They're also fighting Vilgax with George Washington.
What?
Yeah, but Omniverse kind of gets crazy. George Washington is the original plumber, by the way.
Of course.
The apple,
Of course he is.
the apple tree is actually Vilgax's ship.
No.
Or the cherry tree. Yeah.
Oh my God. No.
And he shoots an electrified axe out of a gun.
All right, I'm upset.
Episode done. Episode
done.
over with.
All right.
Yeah. Go ahead. Well, I want to see your top
My
three.
number 3 is also what I think is the most bullshit thing that they've ever done to this series. But I love him so much. And they had to handicap him the hardest out of any other creature that I have seen in a piece of media so far. Alien X is my number 3. He is so cool, and I was so confused about what his powers were for the longest time until they kept bringing him back out. Because at first, all he did after they just argued, after two giant masks argued in space for hours, and Ben told them to shut up, and they started listening, he then reversed time and repaired a dam. And then we never saw him again.
Yes.
And for the longest time, I was like, oh, after they're done yelling, they can make time go backwards. Cool. And then like the episode happened where like he used him against Vilgax or something, and he was shooting beams. I was like, oh, cool, he can do other things. And then I stopped watching Ben 10 years later, a video pops up in my recommended, and it says why Alien X is the most powerful alien. And I was like, you know what? 30 minutes on explaining this? Sure, I can get along with it. And I found out that Alien X survived the multiverse being destroyed, or the universe being destroyed. And then after they were done arguing, he just created a copy of it. What? I thought he could just fix dams and shoot lasers.
Nope.
Why is apparently, correct me if I'm wrong, there's only one Alien X between all of the Bens, right?
Yes. So not Chrono Sapiens, Celestial Sapiens live outside of the multiverse as a whole, and it is stated that Alien X is one celestial sapient that just travels throughout space and time to Ben when he needs it. Throughout all of time.
That's why he's so rare and pops up so few in his Omnitrix.
It's not not necessarily.
Right? Because another Ben is just using it at the time?
No. So, okay. Oh. So we're not sure if it's across the multiverse. Like one Alien X is shared amongst like Ben 23 and like the other multiverse versions of Ben. Mm-hmm. But we know that throughout time, like the different versions of Ben, like at different points in time, like the first time Ben uses it and then the last time Ben uses it, it's the same alien. But, they sit outside the multiverse, so they sit outside the concept of time within the universe.
Yeah.
So technically, they just, like, pop up in there, and then they just end up outside the multiverse again, and then just go back whenever he needs it. Because, their concept of time is different because they don't sit within the same dimension or plane of existence as them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. No, the reason he doesn't use it like in the show is never like truly explained, but up until
I know that they did like lock him behind something. But because they had to put the keys and use the failsafe command.
Yeah, in the Ultimatrix they modified it to have like they locked it behind keys. I think they did it. I don't know why they did it. In case somebody had.
Oh, they did it in case Albedo stole it.
No, because Albedo already had the sample.
Oh.
They did it in case like somebody got a hold of the Omnitrix like Vilgax did in the season finale of Alien Force. So like
that's Albedo want Vilgax to have that.
Albedo technically already has, so when Albedo got like launched into space at the end of Alien Force or whatever. Mm-hmm. Or at the end of Ultimate Alien or something like that. Well, or he was on the Null Void or something, right? He was in a
they put him in the Null Void.
He was in some place where he should have died. Well, he just turned into Alien X. So we know that Alien X is shared between Ben and all of his versions of time and Albedo, because technically they pull from the same source, the codon stream, back on Galvin Prime.
Yeah.
So technically, what he did was he never got Serena. Serena and Bellicus are the two heads.
Yes.
Serena and Bellicus didn't agree with Albedo, so technically he just stayed transformed and didn't die the entire time. So instead of eating, he just kind of stayed like a nigh immortal being.
Yeah, man. Another thing, like I love both designs for Alien X. Alien X just looks cool. Mm-hmm. The fact that he's just space is really fun to me.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing for me, I didn't know how they could possibly improve him from his Ultimate Alien form. Well, his in Ultimate Alien Force, whatever. But like, then I saw his Omniverse design for the first time. Dude, it's just the Crimson Chin.
Yes, that's what people call him.
Well, I can't believe they just made him buffer and then give him a chin of like Greek god.
My favorite celestial. So, like I was saying before, the reason that so the way that a celestial sapient works is that there are 3 minds within the body that have to agree to whatever decision the body's going to make, right? So Alien X is a special exception because Serena and Bellicus are the only original part of the alien for the mind, and then the third mind's Ben, right? So
Yeah.
it's Serena's like love and Bellicus's like distaste or hate, and like Ben's supposed to be the voice of reason. So if they can't agree on something, if they can't have like a 3-0 agreement, Alien X would do nothing. So the reason that he didn't use it for so long was because Alien X wouldn't agree on anything. So, and it's not like time stopped for them. Time still moved around like the body. So Ben would just stand there. So what happened in the episode in Omniverse is that he said to Serena and Bellicus, because they weren't listening to him, that because they like to argue so much, they can argue forever if Ben got to control Alien X. And then they both agreed on it because they love arguing with each other. So, that's why Ben has control of Alien X in Omniverse.
Yeah.
And he still doesn't use them very often. So,
Still so cool. Still so cool.
my number 3, well, this isn't my 3. Mine's not in order. But my next one down the list is NRG. I really liked NRG. He's from Ultimate Alien. He's the alien that is like actually like plasma and radiation that hides within the suit that looks like a furnace.
Yeah.
My favorite out of all of them, of like the 4 Andromeda aliens, I just think he's cool because like the suit is cool. I mean, it's just a walking oven.
Yeah.
Which, funny enough, in a Discord server that I was a part of for a little bit, they called me Oven. It was weird, because like they didn't know what username to call me. Like my username is Lying Mask of Truth, right? So like I was like, you guys can call me Lying. People call me Mask. People call me Truth. I've never been called Of though. And then somebody was just like, oh. So we can call you Of then? And I was just like, you can call me Of then. Then somebody was just like, I can call you Oven?
Huh.
So I was called Oven in a Discord server for a while.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I vibe with NRG. I'm also an Oven.
He was the one that like, what wasn't he like German?
Yeah.
I really liked Energy. Energy made me laugh because of the German accent. I didn't really expect an alien to be German, but you know, like anything's possible. I also like that they gave him.
I think
they
it's supposed to be Russian, actually.
Oh, probably. Russian is probably more accurate. I've not heard Energy's voice in a very long time. I do like that they gave his head a handle in Omniverse.
Yes, his head isn't handle.
He also, in his like regular plasma form, he looks like a villain in a suit that the Scooby-Doo gang just caught.
He looks like you remember in Teen Titans when they did like the battle against the Master, there was the red guy that just had very similar powers to NRG.
Mm-hmm.
It's just NRG in Teen Titans.
Oh.
Yeah, I really like NRG. I think he's very underutilized, but like they use him in cool ways. Like there was one episode where like there was like a nuclear meltdown was about to happen or something like that, and Ben turned into him and just sucked up all the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Very Captain Atom from DC. But yeah, he's another one. He's another alien that, well, technically, is it ever stated whether the shell is like armor or a part of his body? Because technically, it was scanned along with him.
From my understanding,
well, actually, it wasn't.
It's like Goop's. It's one of those situations like with Goop's disc.
Okay, because if you remember, his
he
body
can exist outside of it.
Yeah, well, his body when scanned by, so the difference between the Omnitrix scanning an alien and the Ultimatrix scanning an alien is the Ultimatrix just takes the DNA sample and you transform exactly into it, unlike the Omnitrix that turns you into the peak version of that DNA sample. So in the Ultimatrix, he just scanned like the radiation body. He didn't scan the armor. So I'm guessing the Ultimatrix and the Omnitrix are smart enough to just create a similar suit.
I believe so.
Which makes me think that there's room for modification.
It's true. It's true.
He does look really cool. He kind of... I feel like if they could modify the suit, they should make it like that one Gem Knight fusion monster. Or just do like a Gem Knight card. Random Yu-Gi-Oh insert here. Yeah, what's your number 2? I'm very curious about this.
My number 2 is our one and only Taku Star, Way Big.
I was debating about putting Way Big on here.
So cool. I love Ultraman. I love Kaijus.
I also love Ultraman.
I love big aliens, and he is the biggest alien.
I think he's cool. Ultimate Way Big is even more of an Ultraman reference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that he shoots a beam out of doing a pose. It makes me so happy. It really just speaks to the fact that somebody on the Ben 10 design team was just a really big fan of kaiju movies and Ultraman. And that just tickles my heart to see it exist.
In Omniverse, there's actually mutant Taku stars that attack and invade Earth.
Oh,
they're purple.
That must have been horrifying for an Earthling to see.
Oh,
can you imagine?
Ben
like
had to give up. Ben, they were getting invaded by the frog people. And the Taku stars landed, and he fought one of them as Way Big, and like ran out of like energy or like got tired, and like 5 more fell onto Earth, and like they were just like, Ben, you have to leave.
No,
Way Big's awesome. He's the first movie alien we got.
He is the first movie alien, and it's the way that they ended the movie too.
Yeah, he just throws Vilgax like a baseball.
Fucking Asmith finally meeting Ben. He's like, I was gonna give this to you when you were older.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely probably should have put him on my list, but yeah, it's okay. You did it for me. We're talking about him anyway. He's definitely cool. We definitely do have like some characters have strength feats against him, so he's not the strongest, but no, he's awesome.
I would also say, because it's like kind of forgotten about, because like even like from an outside perspective, you would look at him and be like, oh, he moves slow. No, he is as fat. Has an enhanced speed like Accelerate does and Fast Track. Why? Why can this man move fast?
Yeah, no, Way Big's crazy. I love the laser attacks. They're the coolest part.
They are, absolutely. What's your number 2?
Well, I don't have mine in order.
I know you don't have it ordered, but what's your number 8?
Blocks.
The Lego guy? Oh,
I think Blocks is so cool. When I saw him, I thought he was so stupid. But when I saw that Ben could just make anything out of himself, I was just like, I like this. Also, like I told you about Skurd, a lot of the time what Skurd will do is he'll create a cannon, a shoulder cannon, that launches Lego blocks at people using Blocks' DNA. And there's an episode where this giant Tyrannosaurus alien steps on them.
On a Lego.
Yes, it's amazing. And he falls, and he's defeated. I think Blocks is so cool. Some people try to redesign Blocks to make them more realistic because they don't believe in the fact that there's a whole entire Lego world of aliens. But I like Blocks.
I need to be upfront and honest about Blocks, because I truly don't know that much about him. I do understand that he's a Lego alien.
He's a Lego monkey.
Great. blocks
Yeah.
and then changing the art style super hard. But honestly, it was blocks that made me so disinterested. I did not watch Omniverse.
I love blocks.
I
Blocks makes me smile.
But that sounds cool. Him having um a T-Rex step on a Lego is very funny.
You know what? You know what Ben 23 calls blocks?
Cubes.
Build a guy. Build dash a dash guy.
I am going to harm.
He calls
Ben
a lot of
23.
people. He calls a lot of people guy. He's like Aster Phoenix in the Destiny Heroes.
What does he call accelerate?
Speedy quick.
Speedy quick?
You know what he calls
Well,
Stinksfly?
Mm-hmm.
Big
No,
bug.
big bug. No. Well, Speedy quick. Speedy quick is my number one alien. I love accelerate. The fact that he has balls for his feet, the blue and black design looks just so slick. The fact that he has a mask that comes down that is like some kind of weird DNA symbol is just so cool.
Yeah, I also really like him. Accelerate's cool. There's the cool thing from the OG series in the baseball game where he like stops time around him.
Yes.
Like he's super fast. If it wasn't for the fact that Ben had a time limit, him with the master controls, like OG Ben 10,000, literally like he was like the Flash. Like he literally just patrolled the city constantly as Accelerate.
Accelerate, and that's so smart
Yeah.
because you can easily do that. Dude, I love that he's like a velociraptor.
I hate Fast Track for the existence of Accelerate. Like
Right,
I was
because
like,
Fast Track just replaced Accelerate, right?
and he's slower. Yeah.
And he's slower. Why would you what Ben, I get it. You want to change your clothes, but when your options are between wearing some kind of t-shirt that has a hole in it or wearing like a designer shirt, why would you pick the one with the hole in it?
So I just want since I really love Accelerate. He has some great moments. He's definitely underused outside of the OG series. He's definitely probably the most used besides like Forearms or Diamond Head.
Yes.
But I want to talk about the names that Ben 23 gives
No,
his
you can't
aliens.
tell me that Ben 23's version of Kevin 11 is 7-7.
No, it's not. 7/7's actually 6/6's part of 6/6's species.
Oh.
And there's 8/8. 8/8's a girl. So all of Ben 23. So instead of green, his colors are blue. So all of his aliens are blue. Even some of the aliens that just don't have green on their skin, like as their skin tone or fur, are just blue. Kind of like how Albedo has some red. So I want to go through the names before I talk about my last one. Artiguana is Freeze Lizard. I'm gonna say these, and I'm gonna let you. I want to let you.
Yeah, let me guess what they are.
Roly
Because I don't know what they are.
Roll away.
Cannon bolt.
Electric Yeti.
Electric Yeti. No.
Electric Yeti.
I've
All one word.
oh, all one word. Great.
Electric Yeti.
What's the Frankenstrike?
Shock Squatch.
Chuck Squatch? Oh,
Shock Squatch. You already know about that. Eye Guy.
what? Eye guy.
It's just Eye Guy.
It's just eye guy.
Toolbox.
Upgrade.
No.
Gray matter?
Armadillo.
Armadillo.
19 Night is Pesky Dust. You didn't watch Omniverse, so I'm gonna give that to you. Mr.
you.
Monkey.
Spider monkey.
Yes. Techno bubble.
Upgrade.
Yes. Dino mighty.
A humongous.
Freeze ghost.
Big chill.
Handyman.
What? Forearms.
Yes. Lightning Volt.
Lightning Bolt. Frankenstrike?
Yes. Brain Frog.
Brainstorm?
No.
Brain fraud. What?
Brain Frog.
Gray matter?
Yes.
Oh.
Giant monster. Giant manster. Manster, not monster.
Frankenstrike.
No. You already guessed Frankenstrike.
I did. Blitzwolfer.
No. Giant manster.
Giant man. Humongous sword?
No.
I already guessed humongous sword. Way big?
Yes.
No.
Giant manster. Dog nabbit.
Wild mutt.
Charcoal man.
You blast.
Yes. Copy.
Echo.
No.
Ditto.
Yes. Muck a muck. Muck.
Muckamuck?
Yeah.
Goop?
Yeah. Orbit man. You haven't watched it. It's Gravitech. Gravitech has gravity abilities. He's pretty cool.
Oh.
Mr. Mucky.
Goop.
No.
Mucky.
Mr. Mucky.
Mr. Mucky. Water hazard?
No.
Upchuck.
Swamp fire.
What? No.
Oh, I think that's. Oh. I don't. What are some of these ones? Oh my gosh. Okay, you know about Teeny Weeny.
Wait, what?
Teeny Weeny.
Jury rig?
No,
Teeny weeny.
it's Nanomech.
Nano. Oh.
Do you want to guess who Hose Hands is?
Some hose gonna catch these hands. It's forearms?
No, Hose Hands.
Hose hands?
It's Water Hazard.
Water hazard? Oh, wait.
My final alien, it is probably like my favorite alien because like when it was introduced, I was like, this is me as an alien. Upchuck. I think Upchuck's really cool.
Upchuck almost made my list. He'd be my number 10. You go ahead.
He's just so funny, and like the way that he just learns his abilities is just like he starts eating. So he gets told to eat something, he's just like, bleh. And like he has an endless void. He's like Kirby the alien. He eats like a dwarf star at the end of Ben 10 at the end of the OG series before the movie.
Oh right, he does.
And he just eats it and blasts it back and doesn't destroy the universe from it. Yeah, he's great. I love his color scheme in Omniverse. So in the OG series, they color him like lighter, right? Mm-hmm. And in Alien Force, they bring him back, but his design is like dark green, right? So they retcon this in Omniverse by saying that there's subspecies of like Upchuck species. There's the Perks and the Mercs, and they live in different swamps on the homeworld. And the Omnitrix actually has both of those species' DNA cataloged as the same species, but different like variations of them.
Interesting.
So technically, if like, I don't know, if humans were ever cataloged in the Omnitrix, right? Because technically they're not. It's just Ben's DNA is the default host DNA of the Omnitrix, right? That technically, like, someone from Asia and someone from Africa would be two different species categorized as humans in the Omnitrix, right?
Yeah.
Or like different species of monkeys, right? Or simians or like gorillas and stuff like that, or cats, like lions, lions, tigers, and leopards and stuff.
Oh my.
Or I guess the better thing would be like bugs or like different ants, like same species, different things. But yeah, I think it's really cool. They retconned it. So like what Ben does is he becomes a mediator and transforms into like the different upchucks and like tries to get the two warring sides of the homeworld to like come together. He's great. He has weird tendrils that come out of his mouth when he tries to eat stuff. He also doesn't consume actual food as Upchuck. He finds it disgusting. But he finds metal completely delicious and in human form has coughed up metal that Upchuck has eaten. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right.
Do you have anything else to say? I mean, I feel like we can do like another episode about Ben 10, like about specific things, but
Oh, absolutely. We can definitely go more into detail about our love and adoration for the series.
there's the fusions. There's a future version of Ben 10 that has something called the Bi-Omnitrix where he can fuse two DNA samples. That's an Omniverse.
Yes. Yes, I've heard about Atomics,
Atomic X.
Atomic X, which is like Ben's strongest alien, I want to say.
It's
So far?
it's the two strongest aliens that he has combined together, but like it gets wiped out by something that regular Alien X shouldn't get wiped out by. So it got nerfed, or they're not. Alien X isn't like completely like immortal. He's just really like strong and durable and stuff. But Mungosaur is my favorite one. It's 4 arms and Humongosaur. He doesn't just have 4 arms. You know what he also has?
Oh,
A mustache.
Oh, I thought you were going to say for something else.
No.
Legs. He could run faster. Get your head out of the gutter.
That sounds terrible. He's like a giraffe at that point.
Or Orisa.
Yeah, or Orisa. But yeah, and he also seems to lose the ability to grow though, so that's kind of a nerf. But 4 arms. There's also there's Humongoop. It's just Humongosaur and Goop. So it's just Goop in the shape of Humongosaur.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say. We didn't have a lot of news this week. In the next episode, we're definitely going to be talking about Kenobi. And by that time after that, the episode after that, we're going to be talking about Miss Marvel. We have a set schedule that we have. It's just today's episode, we decided to take it lax. Mostly because we didn't want to rush out content and life's been busy. But
That's been a little crazy.
yeah, it's been crazy. But yeah, do you have anything else you'd like to say to the people before we get to the end of this?
I've got nothing else to say to you people aside from I hope you have a wonderful day.
Shout out to the Belgian viewers, by the way.
Shout out to our Belgium boys and gals and non-binary pals.
Yes. But
Happy
yeah.
Pride, everyone.
Yes. If you enjoy the show, like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube, follow us on any platform. Domestic Boyfriends Podcast on every streaming platform except Pandora. Pandora, pick it up. I don't know what's happening. But we're on everything else. I am at lying_mask on Twitter.
I am Vincent Barlow 8.
And you can message either of us or get a hold of us at Domestic BF Pod on Twitter as well. Message us through there, comment on YouTube. Yeah, Vincent already knows this, but I actually got one of our banners printed on a playmat. We both play card games, and it looks amazing. And I think Vincent's gonna get it too.
Absolutely.
It looks pretty awesome. Shout
I'm
out.
a
Go ahead.
I'm a newly um I'm working at a newly founded card shop, and I'm going to be heading. It's a very family friendly place, and I'm going to be heading the My Hero card game. So I need a family friendly mat, which I do not have right now,
Yeah,
but
so
I will soon.
yes, family friend.
And I can rep our podcast at the workplace.
Oh yeah, can't wait to go to F&M and then freaking wreck people and be like, check out my podcast.
Check out my podcast. Whenever somebody wipes my board, I'll be like, "Oh, hey, have you guys listened to Domestic Boyfriend Podcast?"
Well, since my board's clear, might as well look at these ads.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you want to get in contact with us, just let us know. Next episode is going to be Kenobi and our thoughts on that. I'm very excited about that. And yeah, shout out to him over at Ultimate Maverick X on DeviantArt and Twitter. He's our art guy. And yeah, thanks for listening.
See you, beautiful people.